This is All in a Day's Work, episode number 4.
Right.
I'm Trip.
I'm Lucas.
Hey, this episode, we're going to kind of do it a little bit different than we did our last episode, because if we want to kind of recap, our last episode, we kind of ended, not, I want to say on a dark note, but we kind of ended on a pretty sensitive topic. We were talking about veteran suicide and the resources out there and whatnot. So this episode, I want to keep it a little bit more lighthearted. We got some questions that we want to ask each other, some questions that we want to open up to you guys as the audience.
That's right.
And please respond back with your answers to the questions that we ask, if you feel comfortable with. And we're going to have these questions up on the Facebook page, on the website, I believe, the Instagram, and the Facebook group.
Yep.
All in a Day's Work, the group. It's a community group, so please, if you haven't joined, please join, subscribe, and let's continue the dialogue.
Yes, absolutely.
So I wanted to start off right off the jump street with the question. I saw this on one of the veteran pages, and it kind of made me think today. So the question is, what is your biggest struggle since you've been out of the service? What's one of the biggest struggles you've had since you've been out of the service? And this is for you guys as well, but absolutely. I want to ask you, what is one of the biggest struggles you've had since being out of the military?
Well, for me personally, and I think actually a lot of military has the same struggle, at least from what I've noticed, is not so much a struggle with identity, but a struggle with purpose. Purpose, okay. Right? Because when you're in the military, you are committed to the mission. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
The whole goal is the mission.
100% of the time, right? Yep. The commander's intent.
Exactly. So when you get out, now you're the commander, right, of your own life, right? So I know it, in my particular case, I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea what I wanted to accomplish or what I wanted to do in my life, right? So I struggled with a long time with a lack of purpose, right? And I think a lot of veterans have that, at least something similar to that.
Oh, right? I would agree with that. In the military, you get told where to be, what time to be there, what to wear.
Exactly.
Oh, the military tells you what you need to look like. You know what I mean?
It's a very simple job.
And at the end of the day, as long as you're able to meet the commander's intent, and at least in my experience, it's just get it done.
Yep.
Hey, Sergeant, get it done.
Yep.
Make it happen.
Yep.
You know, if you're a good leader, you're going to make it happen. You know, the right way, all the time, and efficiently.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
so the Army or the military gives you a purpose, but then you kind of define yourself in the military, I would say, on what that purpose looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get told, let's say that the task is make sure all of the vehicles are lined up properly in the motor pool. It's a simple task, right? The commander wants all of the vehicles lined up online, dress right dress, right? Okay, that's the commander's intent. End state, the goal, right? Okay, so we know what the purpose is, right? We know what the mission is. So now I have, with my identity, I got to figure out as a staff sergeant to make sure my sergeants know what the commander's intent is, and to get it done.
Yep.
And you're going to drive throughout your Army values, your own values, your core values, whatever it is, to make sure that gets done. Most of the time it's just, hey, look, if we get this shit done, we get to go home. you know what I mean? And everybody knows in the military, if you take away somebody's time in the military, that's like almost taking a life, right?
Yeah.
You know, you take away their time, that's the biggest thing. You know, because you spend so much time, especially active duty, there's so much downtime that you spend where you don't necessarily know what you're doing with yourself. You're just kind of twiddling your thumbs, throwing rocks, you know, pulling grass out of the cracks in the motor pool. Like, Jesus Christ, this is what I'm doing. I've been trained to be a killer, but I'm pulling over here, pulling weeds out of the crack. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I could definitely see that. In the military, you know, they give you a purpose, but then you're constantly always striving to do something.
Yeah.
Something better or you know, just to meet that end state. You know what I mean?
What would your struggle be?
My struggle?
Yeah.
Since being out? I can bring out a list if you want. I got a whole list of struggles. Which one you want? Number 1 or 1,000?
Let's go top one, man. Top one.
So I would say, my biggest struggle, and I deal with this constantly, and I know this is probably going to sound weird to you just with my personality, and because you see me day in and day out with different people, but I think the biggest struggle I have is the connection. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is the military is a brotherhood, a sisterhood.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all you have is the person to your left and to your right.
Yep.
And especially downrange. So if you end up deploying with these guys or girls, you guys become closer than most family members.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I know some of the soldiers that I deployed with my first tour and my second tour, I still talk to this day. Mm-hmm. It's just, and what's crazy is no matter what the gap of time between us speaking to each other, mm-hmm. it may be months, could be a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Somehow we still have that cohesiveness. It's crazy, right? But finding that on the civilian sector, it's
downright almost impossible.
It's impossible, man. I look at like how people kind of communicate today. It's so weird. If you're not on your freaking smartphone or on Twitter, like all this shit, man, like you're not connect. People don't connect anymore. And hell, you pick up the phone, right, and you call someone just to talk to someone on the phone. Like, why the hell are you calling me? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you want?
Yeah,
it's called to talk. you know what I mean? And not to downplay or diss on civilians, but I witness it day in and day out, man. And these people, they not these people in the civilian side.
You meant that.
In the civilian side, it's kind of like, well, what are you gonna do for me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Why are you getting close to me? Why do you want to know what's going on with me? Maybe because I care. Or
especially in today's society, it's hard to find that people that genuinely care, right? Because like you said, it's what do you want from me? What are you trying to like scam me on, or like you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I completely agree. You don't find that in the civilian sector.
Yeah, that connection's not the same, man. Like
when you go through the suck together, it changes you, right? And it brings you together, forged through fire.
I mean, like you said, you go through the suck. You go through some dark stuff in the military, especially if you deploy. Especially if you're a combat veteran, right? You've deployed. You've had to either receive or engage in combat to some degree, whatever it is. Okay, and then you come back to life, as we would say, the civilian side, and someone's bitching because they don't have enough paper towels, or there's no salt in the break room, or how come we don't have this or that in the workplace? It's like, are you kidding me? You're really gonna bitch about that? Mm-hmm. You're literally gonna go up and bitch about that? Like, I've had dudes that can't wipe their ass because there's no toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They ain't bitching about it. You tear off a fucking sock or part of your shirt and you keep on driving. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like when you go through that kind of experience in the military, and then you have to come back, it's like, well, how can I connect with this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like this guy's over here bitching because the Wi-Fi is down.
Or his Starbucks drink doesn't taste like how he wants it.
God, don't get me started on Starbucks. Don't get me started on Starbucks. Kevin Hart said it the best on one of his stand-ups. He said, if you're a real Starbucks drinker, who the fuck do you think you are? And you hit that on the head, man. Yep. And it's so true, man. I mean, Starbucks ain't shit compared to Green Beans. Shout out to Green Beans.
I'm kind of a fan of, what was it, Dutch Brothers.
Dutch Brothers is all right. Dutch Brothers is okay. Yes, yeah. Battle Mean.
Yeah.
What's that other one they got on JBLM? You got the Battle Bean. Einstein.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I can fuck with some Einstein.
Yes. So when I was an MP and still in, we would go there and get coffee and bagels.
Yeah, right. I bet
morning.
y'all got coffee and donuts every day,
Man,
didn't you?
nah, give me some credit. All right, I'm still slim. I was slimmer back in the day.
That's only because you were forced to do PT.
I mean, I do PT on my own now. That's how I cope with that.
That's only because the gym just opened up yesterday.
Even before that, I had my own workouts that I was doing to try and keep my sanity.
Okay, sanity. Okay, that makes
All right.
sense. So let me ask you this: what have you been doing? I guess this would be like a two-parter. One, since you've been out of the military, how have you been able to cope with being out of the military? So we already talked about, what's one of the biggest struggles. Well, how do you cope with that? What's something you do to cope with it?
Well, are we talking about pre-pandemic or since
Oh, that's why I said it's a two-parter.
All
So
right.
Let's talk pre-pandemic and then even now.
Well, pre-pandemic, it was definitely a lot of, like you said, I remember if it was in this episode or episode 3, but everybody has their demons, everybody struggles, right?
Absolutely.
And so one of the ways that I would cope with it was lots of gym time. There's nothing makes you feel better than making some heavy iron your bench, right?
Oh, I heard
Right.
that, man.
So,
Make it your bitch. I like that. I like that. Make that heavy iron your bitch.
And that's what I would do. I'd put in my headphones, and for that hour or 2 hours that I'm in the gym, depending on what I got to work out for the day, I was free from it, right?
Yeah.
No concerns, no bills, no stress, no breakups, no exes, no future. It's just that 2 hours you're in the gym and you're just focusing on clearing. Right, and for me, that was one of the healthiest ways for me to deal with stuff. Because even when I was and I was younger and I was drinking all the time, right, that was my way out, was alcohol and bars and just really, really bad behavior. I dabbled in some drugs here and there, but when I got out, I needed to clean it up. So I found the gym. For me, it was heaven on earth. Right.
Oh, absolutely. You the way you just said that kind of reminds me of that quote from the Fast and the Furious, where Dom says, I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah.
And for that 10 seconds or less, I'm free.
Exactly. Right.
And that makes sense. Like you completely forget about whatever you either been through or you are going through.
Absolutely.
And you just focus on the gym. I like that. I like that the way you're using that. And what about now with the pandemic?
Well, since the gyms have been closed, so I've been a little strung out lately. But,
eating pizza?
Yeah, I kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit, right?
Yeah, we all do. It's one of the biggest struggles is staying committed to the gym, right?
It happens. We all have it. So
you could just go check out Planet Fitness. You get the workout and you get free pizza, right? Don't they have free pizza night?
That's what I heard. I would not know. I refuse to go.
I'll tell you what, if you go, you might get yourself free pizza. You get the best of both worlds. You kind of hit that on one of the episodes, I think.
You see that blows my mind that a health and fitness establishment would offer pizza. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some pizza.
I bet you
do.
But
the whole goal is to try and lose weight and do it healthily, in a healthy way.
Say healthily?
Healthily. Right.
All right, YouTube, that's a new word, healthily.
So
look that up for me.
Do it healthy and in a healthy way. When you offer something like pizza or candy at your workouts, right, you're just giving the illusion of fitness because you're going to negate everything you did in the gym with that 1 or 2 slices of pizza.
Think about it like this, man. Maybe they're trying to test your mental fortitude and see if you have enough willpower to look past the pizza and continue. What did you say? Making that heavy iron your bitch.
So my only issue with that is, right, obviously if you're in the gym, you've kind of regressed in your physical state a little bit, right? You let yourself go a little bit, you gain a little bit of weight, whatever the case may be, right? So your willpower and your mental fortitude is already not at a place where it should be. Why would you compound that with low self-esteem and these issues that you got going on? And I'm not generalizing everybody, everybody has their own issues.
Mm-hmm.
But why would you compound that and put that temptation in the way, right? You're supposed to be there to encourage people to help them stay on the straight and narrow.
Well, I can tell you why.
Right.
I can tell you why. That way they binge on the pizza and they continue with that gym membership.
Well, I mean, which is why I won't go.
I mean, that makes sense to me, right?
I mean,
I guess
from a business standpoint, it's genius.
It can
right?
go either way. It can go either way. Maybe they're really trying to help people out and test that mental fortitude, or they go ahead and get fat. It's just a slice now, right? It's just a slice.
Yeah, a slice turns into 10 pizzas later.
Yeah, right? And then you're back in the gym with that $90 membership, whatever it is.
You keep eating pizza, you ain't gonna be going to the gym.
That gym membership for life.
Yeah, that's just my way of coping, right? And so everybody has their own way of coping. I know yours is like shooting guns and boxing, right? And yelling at people.
I mean, I don't yell at people. First of all, I just want to put this out there. I do not yell at people, okay? I was not a drill sergeant. I should have been, but I was not a drill sergeant. I was just a staff sergeant who never yelled. I just spoke at a high enough tone so everybody heard. I mean, what do you expect?
A lesson for one person is a lesson for all, right?
Amen. You know, you're going to learn one way or another. You know, it's something I used to tell my soldiers when they were, newer soldiers coming in, especially the first time they'd act up, because you got to put them in check the first time they act up, right? That way you can establish that dominance, and then you let them know, like, look, I'm not messing around. Yeah. So you gotta assert yourself, right? But I always told my soldiers, you're gonna be one of two things working for me: real strong or real smart. But you ain't gonna be both.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be both.
That.
Yeah. So and actually, some of the first soldiers I got when I was a young E5. Let me see. I know I told this directly to, and that guy learned his name. His name was Maldonado. Yeah, I think he changed his name later on. Anyways, this guy, he's usually one of the newer guys. He could be a hothead from time to time. And I told him that same thing. As he's down pushing, he's pushing. You're going to be one of two things, real strong or real smart. But you know what? He actually turned out to be one of the best soldiers I ever had.
Oh, shout out, brother.
Absolutely. Molly D, if you're hearing this, brother, you know what I'm talking about. Right. You know what I'm talking about. But I don't go shooting and beat people up, or what'd you say? Or
shooting, boxing, and yelling.
It's stress. That's what, you guys can see. I got the punching bag here. I'm a firm believer that every man should have, or everybody should have a punching bag in their place, or at least accessible to them. Because no matter, sometimes you just got to hit something.
Well, I completely agree with that.
Sometimes you just got to hit something, and why not take it out in a healthy fashion? That's the way I look at it. I'm not able to run anymore due to my injuries. I cannot run long distance at all. I can do short jogs and things like that, but it's not enough cardio. So something I've learned is hitting the bag and getting into a good routine. Getting those combos in is the next best form of cardio that I can do. Okay. And it's great cardio. Yep. So if you ever want to hit the bag, man, come on by, man. I'll show you how to hit the bag. I'll show you how to hit.
Yeah. I don't know how to do that.
No, I mean, I'm just saying. You hit like anyways, yeah, so that's one of the things I do. But, the best thing for me to cope with either being out of the military, because I haven't been out that long. I've been out 2 years now. I was medically retired. Okay. If you guys don't know that, I was medically retired. Had some injuries, some of which that came from my first tour. 5 different surgeries on myself to get myself just walking the way I am now. So I'm not able to do a lot, but what I am able to do is continue to be a good father. I have been divorced. Sorry to hear that. It sucks, right? However, me being a good father and just getting in my kids' world when I have my kids, that's the best coping mechanism I can do right now at this moment, either pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, or just during the pandemic, I'll say. It's just getting that quality time with my kids. And I got 2 girls. I got 2 girls. I love them to death. And, I do what I can to get in their world and just show them, what a good. I didn't have a father growing up. He passed away when I was 5. And so giving them everything I didn't have is my number one goal. I think that's every parent's goal.
And it should be.
I want to give them everything that I didn't have and some, without trying to spoil them. But I got girls, so You know how that goes. And
Yo,
if you don't know how that goes, one day you will.
they got you wrapped around their fingers, don't they?
No, man. No. I established that dominance. You know what I'm saying? My
Okay.
girls know. When
Yeah.
I say jump, they ask how high.
All right, okay. I see the stats already coming out.
Yeah.
All right.
If I'm honest, though, you've met my kids.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I got great kids. They are really good kids.
Really
They are disciplined. They listen, but yeah, they know how to get through daddy. Yeah, they know how.
It's a question. As a single father, right? Do you think you'd ever be able to get enough time with your kids?
Enough time with my kids. Wow. It's a tough question, man. Kind of threw me on the spot there.
Sorry.
No, man. I get my kids every weekend. So I typically work Sunday through Thursday. Thursdays, after I get off work, I go travel. I pick up my kids, and I get them Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Their mom picks them up Sunday morning.
Okay.
So we kind of have as close to 50-50 kind of right now as we're going to get. You know, I get them basically 3 days. She gets them 4 days. But even, you know, the time I don't have them that Sunday through Thursday, it's tough, man. That's part of the reason I work so much. I sit at home, you know, without my kids, I feel that emptiness, you know. And even though I hit the bag, I can only hit the bag for so long before I'm dead.
Yeah.
you know, so it's tough, man. I really get that emptiness feeling when I don't have my kids. And I know that might sound, you know, kind of soft or whatnot, but I love my kids to death, man. If it was up to me, I'd have my kids every single day. You know, but I do know that, you know, my kids need their mother too. And, you know, regardless of the relationship their mother and I had or have, we're both good parents. I will give, you know, both of us, we're good parents. So we've been very, you know, civil when it comes to the kids.
Okay.
When it comes to the kids, we try to work things out between us and the kids. So, you know, not having that time, it sucks and it hurts. And some days I have really dark days because of that. You know, I start to blame myself. Well, what if I didn't get out of the military? What if this? What if that? And you kind of go down that spiral, that rabbit hole. Yeah. And then, you know, you start thinking some really dark thoughts. And that does happen, you know. And luckily, you know, I do have people that care, at least they say they care. And it's not a lot of people, but I know I have a couple people I can call on when it comes down to that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
It kind of threw me off there a little bit, but yeah, that's a good question to ask. You know, the people get to kind of see me. You know,
I don't have kids, so I was just curious. You know, what that looks like.
Yeah,
you know,
it's tough, man. So
anyways, going back into the military, right? How old was you when you decided that you wanted to join the military?
When I decided, shoot. You know, here's what's funny. So my grandfather, he served in the Navy and he served in the Army. He was drafted in the Army of Vietnam. He actually had to give up school. He was playing baseball. Okay. He had to give up school. He was drafted in Vietnam. He served in Vietnam. And then he got out of the Army, and I guess he went in. From what I know, he went into the Navy and continued the rest of his career and retired from the Navy. So growing up, my grandfather was a huge influence on my life because, you know, not having a father, he was the only male figure I had. So growing up, you know, he's always telling me these stories about the Navy and the Nimitz. So USS Nimitz, man. But let me tell you something. When we pulled in the port, maybe this song was for, how old hands be talking. He is always a positive influence and always, you know, starting for me to do the right thing. So I think having that kind of like in the back of my head, no matter what was going on, because I think a young part of me always knew, I think I'm going to join the military at some point. I didn't know what branch, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I think just as a young kid, I think I had that kind of in the back of my head, one day you're going to join. You know, and then as I started going through my teenage years, I started thinking about it a little bit more. Because the school was not the best for me, not for the lack of me not trying or fully engaging myself, which I didn't as much. I can admit that. But you know, I had to work full time since I was 13. You know, my mom is a single mother raising 2 kids, trying to make it work. So I had to work full time to provide for the family. So I had to grow up extremely fast, to continue to be the man of the house. So I had to work full time. You know, working at Baskin Robbins, I was a super duper ice cream scooper. Nobody could.
That striped shirt too,
hey,
bro.
it wasn't striped, man. It was lime green or orange or red shirt when we got the t-shirts. I used to have a blue polo though, man. You know, hey, nobody can scoop that ice cream cone better than me, man. I'll tell you that.
Whatever you're doing, you're gonna be the best at what you do,
can look,
right?
Hey, anybody that's on this, if you knew me back when I was a teenager working at Baskin Robbins, tell this guy I was the best, super duper ice cream scooper.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So I was working full time. You know, I worked there throughout. When I say 13 until I graduated high school. So I wasn't able to fully engage in school like I should have, because my focus was, all right, I need to get out of here, go to work as many hours as I can to get that check. You know, help pay the bills. So that kind of the idea of going to college was not an option for me. Not that it wasn't available to me. You know, there were loans you can get, of course, and financial aid, and trying to get that lottery scholarship, and you know, all the avenues you can take to try to get through. But the idea of going to college was not in my mindset. It's not for me at all.
No.
And even still to this day, I don't agree. Nothing against anybody who goes to school or wants to pursue school. I don't agree with the whole college idea, and I can explain that later on. I don't agree with it. So I knew. I think I was about 17. I wanted to join the military, but I still didn't know what to join. So I started looking into the National Guard. I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. I can be a part-time soldier. You know, hold on now. This is young me.
Okay.
Oh, I can be a part-time soldier. You know what I mean? Go there a weekend, a month, or whatnot, or whatever it is, and I can still work and do my thing. You know what I mean? And then they never called me back.
Wow.
So
go figure. The guys that only work on weekend don't have time to make a phone call.
Well, you know, the recruiters there, they're active reserve or active, whatever it is, but they never called me back. So went on and continued working, and then my senior year, closer to graduation, we had to write an essay in my English class, and the essay was about, like, you know, what did you learn and where do you think you're going to be going, and it really made me think. So I had to really put some thought into it, and as I'm writing this essay, I'm thinking, you know what? The best course for me to still be able to provide for my family and do something different and get the fuck out of where I'm at. Because I was not only was I working, I was not going through the right path. By the time I was, you know, between 17 and 18, I was not going through the right path at all. I'll be the first to admit that. I was into some things I'm not necessarily proud of, but I had to do what I could to help provide. I made it work, made it happen. You know, it's kind of what I'm known for. I make shit happen.
You're just a doer.
I make it happen.
You
That's
like
what
the
I
Joker,
do.
you just do things.
I just do it. You know, and you see me at work. I just make it happen. Let me try. I'll get it done. So I did what I had to do, and I realized I'm writing this essay. You know, this is where, you know, shout out to teachers, man, because they really are an influential part of people's lives, and that's why I fully believe teachers should get paid more than they do.
I truly agree with that.
They really do, especially high school teachers who have to put up with the bullshit of the adolescent, the teenage years, the hormones, and people don't know what the hell's going on with their lives. You know, for them to be positive with, you know, 200 students a day and still be able to influence their lives to some way, shape, or fashion. So
I completely agree. I think teachers are more undervalued than majority of other jobs.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we can really go down the rabbit hole about jobs that are underrated. I mean, essential workers, we know where we're at now, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
But you know, so it was my English teacher. He gave us this essay, this assignment, and even though he just gave us the assignment, it really made me think. You know, this is 18-year-old me, and I didn't really do much homework because I just didn't do it. I was working. But this one I had to do is for our final grade, a big part of your final grade. You know, it's one of those, like, this is the only thing I want you guys to do, and this is gonna be your grade kind of thing if you want to pass this class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really put time and effort into this essay, and I wrote it. What I didn't know was that he was going to make us read it to the class.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, and I forget my teacher's name, my English teacher's name, senior year. Really, really nice guy. But he made us read it to the class, and as I'm reading it, I kind of got a little emotional because I remember one of the lines I put in there. I may not know where I'm going to be a year or two from now, but there is a good chance that I'm going to end up in a war because this is 2009, and the war was still hot in Afghanistan. I mean, all the way through, what was it, 2015, 2014 time? 2015. Yeah. I had a feeling I was going to join the military. And I think it was while I was writing that, I said, I'm doing this. I'm going to do it. And so I read it to the class, and after, he dismissed the class, he pulled me to the side, and, he's like, that's it's an honorable thing. I want you to know, like, I really support the military, and I really think that's an honorable thing that you could be doing, especially at this time, So, that was in my head. And then graduation comes. We had our senior day, and then graduation was the next day. And our senior day, the recruiters are there. The recruiters are there making us dog tags, Hey, put your name here. We'll make you a dog tag. Put on here if you don't want us to contact you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, no, I want this guy to talk to me. I want him to call me.
All right.
At the time, I remember his name, Staff Sergeant Wiedemann, Brad Wiedemann. So if you're out there, Brad, thank you. Thank you for absolutely everything. He was a newer recruiter, Staff Sergeant. He was about to make Sergeant First Class, which he did. I think he retired Sergeant First Class. So E7. And he talked to me. He said, so you want to join? You think about joining? I was like, absolutely. I was like, here's my number. I want you to call me. This dude called me that same night.
All right.
The same night. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, I think he was at my graduation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, he was at the graduation. And the next day, we graduated high school. I went to my buddy's house. We had some food, and I left his house and I went straight to the recruiting office.
Oh, very nice.
Next day, and he worked with me every step of the way. I was his first recruit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was his first recruit, and I kept in contact with him. I actually spoke to him. I think last year's last time I talked to him. Yeah. He helped me out, man. He helped me get in shape, the best he could at the time. Of course. And helped me study for the ASVAB because I didn't do so well the first time. He went out and bought me the book to study for. Oh, wow. Took me, matter of fact, after I had enlisted, I was on the delayed entry, and I know this is kind of a long story, but I was on delayed entry, and he was still hanging out with the wrong crowd, and I ended up getting arrested for having drugs and drug paraphernalia in my car. It was just weed, but it wasn't mine, right? It truly wasn't mine. So the police officers come. One officer, he pulls me over, and he can smell it in the car. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail. Right? And he calls like 6 more officers over, and I'm scared. It's nighttime, and he calls 6 officers over, whatnot. Anyways, so I get arrested, and I call my mom. She comes to get me. I didn't end up having to post bail or anything. She comes and gets me. The next phone call I made when I got out was to my recruiter. I was like, hey.
And how was that conversation?
I was like, I just fucked up. And he's like, what did you do? I was like, so I told him what happened. He cussed me the hell out, bro. He cussed me. He cussed me the hell out. But he knew I was a good kid, and he believed me. I told him the stuff wasn't mine. The officer didn't believe me at all. Of course it's not yours. It's your car, right? Okay, whatever. Of course he didn't believe me. But, so I told him. He believed me. And my friend who left the stuff in my car actually admitted to leaving the stuff in my car. So my court date was coming up. I had the pre-court date to either plead guilty or not guilty. Yeah. And if I pled not guilty, then they set me up with a trial date. Yeah, trial date, right? Which was going to be pushed out a few months. Yeah. But I was supposed to ship off to basic training.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks later. So, him being him, I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the time, and Santa Fe is the capital of New Mexico. So the DA was there, district attorney.
Yeah.
He actually was neighbors with the DA.
Oh, nice.
Told the DA my story, told him the circumstances, and he told him, it wasn't his buddy admitted to it. So I never had to have a trial. Within a week, I got a phone call from him, and he's like, "Hey, you and Frankie need to get your asses down to the courthouse in the next 10 minutes. I live on the other side of town.
Yeah.
It's like, don't speed, but get here fast. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Don't speed. That was the military. Don't speed, but hurry up.
Yeah.
In the military. So this is the first time I realized, what the fuck does that mean? All right, whatever. I'm over here. Oh, we gotta go.
Yeah.
I find Frankie, and we're moving down. We get to the courthouse. We're sweating. He's like, all right, get your asses in here. So he sits us down. I was like, what's going on? He's like, I got the DA, the public defender here. I can't sit in here for what's going to happen, but they want to talk to you about your case. So we ended up sitting down with the DA, and eventually he just invited him into the room. So, and he explained to me, like, neighbors with, the recruiter here, Sergeant Wiedemann, and he told me what was going on, and he says you're a good kid. He says you've been really working hard to join the military. You've literally done everything you can to join the military. And you seem like a good kid. And my friend Frankie at the time, he's like, and Frankie, you need to get off that stuff. You need to let that go, and you need to start a new life and start off. And I think joining the military would be a good thing for you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those you either go to war or go to jail kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So the DA ended up dropping all charges for me and actually cleaned any priors I had.
Oh, very nice.
For myself and for Frankie. Providing I join the military.
Yeah.
I continue and I go through and I join the military. So I did that, and out of the respect for him, I did the best I could while I was in the military, part of which I got promoted pretty quick and was very successful in the military. So yeah, he did a lot for me, more than most recruiters I would say would do for somebody.
I was about to say, like, a lot of recruiters wouldn't go to that length.
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
He went above and beyond to help me, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why I give so much and I do so much for people. Is that mindset, like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have joined the military. I would have ended up in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was in possession of the drugs and the paraphernalia. Yeah. I wasn't getting out of that.
Yeah. Well.
You know what I mean? And it was also good on my friend for admitting to what he had in my vehicle.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't do that. So I want to shout out to Frankie for being honest and Staff Sergeant First Class Wiedemann. Thank you for everything that you did for me.
Absolutely.
It really did help me a lot. So with that, I knew about that age why and when I was joining the military. So
you definitely had a good influence with the recruiter, that's for sure. There's that stigma that goes around about recruiters that they'll lie to you, do whatever they can to try and get you into the military, right? But he definitely went above and beyond.
Yeah, he went through great lengths to ensure that I got in the military.
Yeah.
And the only thing he didn't tell me about was the damn shark attack when the drill sergeant was messing me up, man. That scared the shit out of me.
Really?
As a young 18-year-old kid, man, I was scared. But it is what it is, And after I came back, I told him, you didn't tell me about the shark attack. He used to start laughing and say, hey, well,
Hey, it's a surprise. You got to go through that,
Absolutely. But
I was very fortunate that I kind of already knew about that because, I watched my brother do it.
Okay, so your brother served?
Yeah, my brother is currently a Marine. He's been in since 2006, so he's been in for a minute, and he should be retiring here in the next couple of years.
Wow! So, hey, shout out to your brother. What's his name?
Michael.
Hey, shout out to Michael. He says a Marine.
Yeah, and his favorite color crayon is red.
His favorite flavor of crayon is red?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But
Michael.
He might be partial to the pink ones. It's been a while since I checked in with him.
Michael, please check in with me. I want to know, was your favorite flavor red or was it pink? Which one is it? But on the real, Michael, thank you for your service, brother.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And you got a good brother here. He's a good guy.
He is a Marine, so he might beg to differ.
It's very true. Right? I mean, I'm not going to say much about Marines. But, you know how that is. I'm Army for life, baby, but you know how the Marines are.
Yeah.
Proud,
man.
So, with that, so your brother was a Marine, or is a Marine.
He's a Marine, yep.
Do you think he was a big influence on why you joined the military?
Yeah. When we was in high school in some little nowhere town in South Carolina, in our high school we had a Marine Corps JROTC program.
Okay.
Right. So he's 4 years older than me. So when he was going through high school, I was still in middle school. So I saw him progress. I saw him do all the runs. I was there with him at all the events. Saw him in the uniform, and I was like, "That's cool. I like that." You know, right? And so as soon as he left, and I was in high school, I went into their Marine Corps JROTC program, and ever since then, I knew the military is what I wanted to do. Maybe not the Marines, because at the time I thought my brother was an asshole, right? So I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So
not to take away from your story, you know, actually before I met with Sergeant Wiedemann, I forgot this part of my story. I went into the recruiting office for the Marines.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, you'll test and we'll pick your job." And I was like, "Absolutely not," because I was like, "I know exactly. I'm going infantry, and I don't want to be a Marine infantry. I know better."
Yeah.
And I left. I was like, "Have a great day." You know?
Really?
Yeah. And then ended up, with the Army, and it was probably the best decision I ever made.
Hell
but
yeah.
Not to take away from your story.
No
but sorry, Marines, it's just not for me.
Man, to each their own. Like we said earlier, if you serve, you serve.
Yeah, absolutely.
You deserve the recognition.
Absolutely.
Everybody has their own path.
Absolutely. Some of us just don't eat crayons for fun.
I mean, some people like it, so you can't knock them for that, man.
Hector, you're a Marine. Tell me about that. I know you got a favorite flavor of crayon.
Yeah. So, but going back, I saw him do that, and that's why I flunked out of my English class when I was in 9th grade. It's because I knew I was going to be in the military, so I was like, why do I need to try at school? Mm-hmm. So, enlisted in the Marine Corps, enlisted in the Army. Not the Marine Corps, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Think about the RTC program.
Oh my goodness! So you enlisted?
Yeah.
And you're an MP.
Yes.
You're an MP.
Yes. 31 Bravo. And I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody likes MPs, not even other MPs.
Let me tell you, I'm a combat engineer, man. So you already know the.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Between combat engineers and the MPs.
Oh, yeah.
Especially us both being in Leonardwood and pretty much next to each other.
Yeah. I know when I was going through basic, I was very fortunate enough that none of our companies got into any kind of altercation or any kind of a cadence battle with the
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. And the engineers, we rocked the house.
I mean,
you ain't no cadence callers in the Army better than the engineers.
I mean, we had some pretty good ones.
Y'all had some mediocre ones.
Anyway, those are stories for another time.
We should do a poll. If you're on this and you're either a combat engineer or an MP, who's got the better cadence callers? I mean, we pretty much know how this is going to be, but I would say combat engineers, we got there. Or just the engineer corps as a whole.
Like I said, MPs don't even like MPs, so it wouldn't surprise me if MPs, just out of hatred for other MPs, voted for engineers. So, this is a losing battle for MPs.
It is what it is, man.
But
it is what it is.
I'm interested to see the results.
We know what the truth is, right?
But, we'll put that poll up and just let us know how everybody feels.
Absolutely. So. All right. So,
with that being said, I think we're going to call this one a day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook group, our Instagram. Go ahead and show us a comment, share this video, and let us know how you guys feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is all in a day's work. It's episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yeah, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe, America. Love you.
Stay safe.